Hello friends, welcome back. In this session, it's going to be Excel. Yes, we are going to have the fundamentals very clearly learned about the Excel functions. We are going to touch the mathematical, the trigonometry, the log, the logical functions, all these very clearly learned in this session. Maybe we'll have one more session based on the length of this particular discussion that we have. We'll decide that later and we are going to start right away with that. I will share this Excel sheet with you by uploading it in a drive so that you can try it out whenever you have time, and this is all very simple. Excel is very easy to use and it gives us enormous facilities, and we are going to explore each of them one by one. First, any function which is available in Excel can be of zero argument, single argument or multiple argument types. We will go ahead with the zero argument first. What do you mean by zero argument? Very simple. I do not have to pass any number or any argument to the function. Like what I have done here, I have not passed anything here. You could see that here pi of no value is inside, and that's why it is called zero argument. When I do that, I get the result as 3.141592654, and that's the value for pi. Now it's single argument time. We are going to pass one number as an argument into the function. Log 10 of 100. This is a number. I passed one number as an argument to the function. So the result is available here, and what we got is 2. Now it can also be a cell. Instead of you passing a number, you can as well pass the address, which I mean is the cell. You can see that I have got cell C, and C2 is nothing but 10. So I am passing the value C2 here, but as a cell, as an address. So that's also calculated. Log 10 of 10, and we got 1 as the result. I can also pass cell groups. I can say C3 to C4. I can group it that way as well. Now we will see what is there from C3 to C4. C3, 4, both of them have got 10 as values, and these values are dummy values. So what is the function? I use the function sum of C3 to C4, and I got the result. So the result is 20. Now I have got zero argument, single argument as a number, single argument as a cell, multiple arguments are going to be dealt. Single argument as a cell group is also given. Multiple arguments is now to be seen. What do you mean by multiple arguments? When I pass two different numbers separated by a comma here, that can be seen as multiple arguments. Log of 16, 2. So that's computer, and we got 4. Now we are going to have sum, max, min, count, average function seen, and these are all very easy and important to be understood. First we will go ahead with sum. Sum with cell group D2 to D6. Now when I do that, we need to first see what are all the content in D2 to D6 range. This is D to D6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are the cell contents. Now when I do that, sum of D2 to D6 will get me 15. Now what is the maximum number that we have seen in this D2 to D6? That's 5. So now when I do max of D2 to D6, I get 5. What is the minimum value there? Min will get you the minimum value, and that's nothing but 1. So we have got 1 reflected here. Now I need to count how many numbers are there in that cell group. So for that I can use count. Count D2 to D6. How many numbers we had? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the count is 5. Now the next one is average. I need to get an average of the figures from D2 to D6. So what is the average? I can now check it out. What was the sum? The sum was 15. How many numbers were there? 5. So 15 by 5, 3 is the average. Now remember, we have used a very simple sum, max, min, count, average functions to find out the sum, max, min, count, average respectively. We have also dealt the zero argument, single argument, multiple arguments concepts very clearly with an example. Now pi is what I have already shown you. So pi will get you the mathematical value for pi. That's all. Now we are getting into the core math functions. We are going to see the core mathematical functions, which include absolute, product, quotient, power and square root. We are going to go by that one by one. What is ABS? ABS will get you the absolute value for a cell value, absolute value for the cell content. ABS of C5. What is C5? You can see that here the C5 is available right here, and the value for C5 is minus 10. So now what do we get here? We get the absolute value for C5, and it's 10. Now what is product? Product will get you the product of all the numerical values in the selected cell ranges D2 to D6. So I have got D2 to D6 as mentioned stuff, and I need to multiply all these 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5. I get 120, I think. Yes, that's what is the value that we have got. Now the next one is quotient. Quotient of two arguments now, 24, 6. What do you mean by that? This is very simple, where we get the quotient value. So 24 by 6 is 4. That's all we got here. Now next one is power. What is power? Power is used which actually will take the first number to the power of the second number. So what do we get here? The first number to the power of the second number, and obviously it is 16. Now what is square root? Square root, we all know what is it. Square root is simple. It is going to get the square root to a positive number and you get the result. So square root of 100 gets you 10. So we learned ABS, product, quotient, power and square root. The next one is going to be trigonometrical functions. It's all very easy to understand, and you try it out. If you have any queries, I will be happy to help if you type the same in the comment section. Now degrees, you know what is it, right? It's very easy to understand. The degrees is a function that will convert radians to degrees. So degrees of pi. So now it is converted to 180. You can see that here we get the degree value. Now what is radians? As usual, you know that it's going to convert degrees to radian. Now what do we do? The radians of 90, when I put, I get 1.57079626327. That's it. We had degrees that converts radians to degrees. We have radians that converts degrees to radians. Now we have got sine, cos, tan functions available. You can use them as appropriately as required. Tan of pi by 4. You can make it sine, cos, tan, anything is fine. Tan of pi by 4 will get you 1. I can change this, I can try to play around, and I can do whatever I want. You can see that here I am making it 2 now. So accordingly the value will be coming and the changes are seen. So tan of pi by 4 is now available. Similarly you can make it cos. I am going to make it now. Maybe sine we will try. So when you do that, you get the values. That's all. It's very simple. You try it out. Next is hyperbolic sine, which means sin h or cos h or tan h. You can use any of them, and similarly I have tried that out. Sin h of pi by 4 is available here. You can make it as cos h if you want, or you can try it out with tan h as well. So all these are real time and you get it immediately out in front of you to understand them. So we have learned the math functions like ABS, product, quotient, power and square root, and similarly we have learned the trigonometrical functions like degrees, radians, sine and hyperbolic functions. Well, the next one is log. What is log functions? Very simple. The first one is exp, which is nothing but exponential. It's a function for exponential raised to a power. That's all. What do you mean by that, sir? Exponential of 2, when you put, you get the values appropriately reflected here, and it's a function for exponential, that is nothing but the Euler's number raised to a power. The next one is again is very simple, log. Simple log function. Log of 1 is 0. We tried it out. It's a single argument stuff. The next one is multiple arguments. Log of 16, 2, when I put, I get 4, and this can be done. The next one is log 10. Log 10 is also available, and you can see that here log 10 of 100, when I try, I get 2. So you can use it as log with single number or cell address. You can use it as multiple arguments. You can use it as log 10 as well. So you can try out all this. And finally, we are getting into something which is very interesting for this session. It is logical functions. What do you mean by that, sir? True or false is called logical. So what do you mean by that? Very simple. If is going to be used here. If C2 is greater than 0, in that case allocate 1. If fail, it is 0. So what is the value in C2 right now? We need to check it up. C2 10. So you can see that here. Let's come back here. So let me reduce the size so that you can see it out clearly. Now you can see that here returns true, returns a logical value of a true. False returns a logical value of false, which means that 0 will be returned in case it is a failure, 1 will be returned in case it is a true. So if C2 greater than 10, C2 is greater than 10, so it is a true, we got 1. Similarly, I am going to the next case. If C8 greater than 0, what is C8? I have got nothing in C8 or something is there? Yes, I have got -5. So if C8 is greater than 0, Is it greater than 0? No, it is a negative value. So we got false. That's all. Similarly, we have got not and or. All these are available and it's very, very interesting. See, not is a condition or a function, I can say, that reverses a logical operation. What do you mean by that? Not of C8 greater than 0. C8, whatever we have had, is minus 5, and not of that, which means we will get the reverse of the correct answer. It was actually false. Now we get not of it, so it is true. Similarly, we take another condition, not of C9 greater than 0. What is C9? I have got C9 with 5. It is actually true, so we get false as the result. That's all. So not is reversing. And or is also available. And C1 greater than 1, comma C2 greater than 1. Means both of these should be true for me to get the result as true. C1 should be greater than 1, C2 should be greater than 1, and hence both of them are met, and hence it is true. Or one of them should be true. If any one of them is true, C1 is greater than 1 and C6 greater than 1. I did not have anything in C6, that's still fine. I think I have 0 in C6, but still fine. One of them is met, hence it is true. Similarly, I have got count, which I have already dealt with. I have got count if, I have got count blank. What is this count? This count will determine the number of values, number of cells that are available, which in the number of cells containing a numerical value between that range. So what do we have here? C2 to C6, if you count, how many numerical values we had? It's very easy to count. C2 to C6 we had 5. That's all. It's very simple. And then when you come further, I have got count if. What is that count if? It is a condition. Only when certain criteria is met, I will get it into picture, right? It's a spreadsheet function that reports the number of cells which meets a particular criteria. Count if D3 less than 10. Okay, so now you go here, we can see D3, how many cells? See that here, D3 less than 10. So when you see that here, the reply is available all here, only one cell. You can see that here, count if condition, count if D3 less than 10. How many? D3 is having the value less than 10, so it is met properly. D3 is this, it is met properly, so 1 is the output. So we got it. The condition is met, and if it is met, it will be included in the output. Now finally, count blank. How many blank spaces are available? Very simple, within that range. Count blank D3 to D20 and D3 to D20. D3 is this, yes. D3 to D20, if you see, we are coming here. So how many blank spaces are there is what is required. Only 4 spaces are occupied, and 4 or 5, yeah, it will give me the correct result as 14 blank spaces are available. It will include everything properly and it will give us the result. That's it. So we have dealt the functions that are related to simple math functions, trigonometrical, log, logical functions, etc. And I hope it was useful, and we are going to continue more in the same Excel content in the next session as well. We will need another 10-15 minutes for that. In the next session, we will be able to see more. If you have any questions, please go ahead and type it in the comment section. I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you.